Today I'm going to be talking about the future of Halo, where I think it's going to go, as well as this channel. What's up, Karizzma crew? This is your captain speaking. If you don't already know, we are the largest Halo channel here in Asia. So let's talk about Halo, where things are at and where I think they're gonna go. Since our lengthy hiatus, which I will talk about later in this video, 343 Industries has been rebranded into Halo Studios. People had varying reactions to this news. Certain people loved it, celebrating the death of 343 so to speak, while others were naturally skeptical. Like, we're not dumb, it's the same studio with just a different coat of paint. The way I personally look at it, at a fundamental level, the core upper management is completely different to what 343 Industries was when developing games Halo 4 to Halo Infinite. There is a chance that things will go differently this time, but I think it'll be wise to hold out hope until we really see it with our own two eyes. In my opinion, they're really on thin ice with the community. Yes, people still care about Halo, but a huge chunk of the community has completely lost faith in the studio no matter what they change their name to. That being said though, from a business and marketing perspective, I still think it was the right move. 343 Industries left a bad taste in not only the Halo community, but the gaming community as well, with news outlets and channels unrelated to even Halo covering the shortcomings of the studio over and over again. So a rebranding will, at least in the eyes of the casual player, feel like a reset, so I guess more power to them. The rest of us, however, will once again remain skeptical until we personally see the first fully launched and hopefully completed Halo game under the Halo Studios name. The next key information was the move to Unreal Engine. Again, given the constant issues with the Slipspace engine, the move to Unreal was a smart one. A lot of people were quick to jump to conclusions looking at the tech demo, thinking this will completely revitalize the franchise. To that I say, I think it's important to remember that at the end of the day, it's still a tech demo. Even Halo Infinite's Slipspace engine demo looked beautiful, but we all know how that turned out. But the biggest positive thing I can say about this is that it will work a lot better with the way Microsoft hires developers. You see, unlike other studios with core developers working on a series title to title, Microsoft likes to hire developers on short-term contracts. It's probably one of the many contributing factors to the slow development, delay, and lackluster launch of Halo Infinite. A huge chunk of time was probably devoted to developers learning a brand new engine before actually getting to work on it. Unreal Engine, on the other hand, is an industry standard that will allow even short-term contracted developers to jump in and continue working on the game as needed. I personally wish the games would have an actual dedicated development team, but I guess it's still better than what we had previously. Speaking of which, Halo Infinite continues to receive updates, with what feels like the biggest update in a long time recently. A new weapon called the Avenger was introduced into the sandbox, kind of filling in that niche between the Bulldog and the Assault Rifle, basically filling in the role of the Halo 2 SMG, but not being useless. There's a new third-person firefight playlist and matchmaking, as well as a throwback Halo 2 playlist, with classic maps as well as advanced movement mechanics disabled to really give it that throwback feel. Both were really fun to play. The novelty of third-person firefight does eventually wear off, but it's kind of funky and fun to try out. We also got something different with the 1v1 workshop playlist, which made me feel very optimistic about people in lower populated regions finding games. But well, I made a separate video on that. Let's just say it didn't really work out for us low populated regions. That being said, that was still really fun. It's just frustrating when the only games you can find are 200 plus ping games. I thought it would at least remedy that, but skill-based matchmaking was even more strict on the playlist, basically negating any potential improvements on the matter. So now let's look into the future. Although there's no official confirmation of what Halo Studios is working on, we can still speculate. Based on what we saw in the Unreal Engine demo, it's pretty likely that the rumors about the Halo Combat Evolved remake are true. The fact that Master Chief is wearing his Mark V armor from CE, and the biomes shown off are all appropriate for CE, I definitely think this is a good move. Remakes are very popular right now, especially in the horror genre. They have the ability to bring in a lot of new players to a classic franchise. It'll also be a great way for Halo Studios to test out how Halo feels on the Unreal Engine before releasing the next game. And as a side note, who knows, if Combat Evolved's remake is successful, we may even get remakes of Halo 2 and 3. And if I can go on another tangent here, if the goal is to reintroduce new players to Halo, I would definitely say that Microsoft should consider adding Halo to PlayStation. I know it sounds weird to some people, having what is considered the symbol of Xbox go over to another platform. Kind of feels like Mario from Nintendo making an appearance on Xbox, but I think it's important important to consider two things here. First, it's clear that Microsoft's vision for the Xbox brand is changing. They're not just focusing on competing with Sony on console sales, because let's be honest, they're failing. They're focusing on cloud gaming, making any device you own essentially an Xbox, whether that's your smartphone or your laptop. They're also focused on providing the best value with Game Pass. And second, as much as I hate to admit it, Halo is no longer the powerhouse that it used to be. Gone are the days where hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world would get an Xbox just to play Halo. It just doesn't have the mass appeal that it used to. So would it really be a detrimental loss to have the Halo remake on a PlayStation? The Halo Combat Evolved remake will be a solid testing ground for Halo Studios. However, the next Halo title after Infinite, whether that's Halo 7 or whatever, is going to be absolutely critical. Rebrand or not, Halo Studios is on very thin ice. The few fans that have stuck around through 343's mistake over the years are probably not going to stick around through it anymore. And I'm afraid if things fail, we may very well see Halo on the shelf forever. The campaign needs consistency in its narrative, no soft reboots or doing a complete 180 from the previous game's campaign. We need to move forward with the endless and continue the story. I personally prefer more linear campaigns like Halo 2, but I'm definitely open to the idea of another open world game as long as it fully utilizes those open areas with a variety of encounters and biomes. The world needs to feel alive. The multiplayer needs to be feature complete and working at launch. Multiple playlists, Forge, custom games, you name it, needs to have everything. Servers need to be equally weighted at matchmaking if they want the franchise to grow outside of the US. The focus needs to go back to making Halo a social game. Skill-based matchmaking needs to take a backseat. I'm sorry to the die-hard ranked players, but Halo needs to be a social game first. It's what matters more. Rank settings can always be tweaked for a more competitive experience, but nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to load up quick play and end up in 7 hyper-competitive matches in a row. Bring back the large and varied sandboxes with multiple weapon and vehicle variants. Also chill a little bit with the microtransactions. Yes, the game needs to make money, but be selective in what and how much is put behind a paywall, because players will appreciate when you provide value and come back for more. And so that brings me to this channel. If you're a long-time subscriber, you've probably noticed a lack of long-form content on this channel for the better part of this year. That's because my wife and I were blessed with a baby girl this summer, and I wanted to focus on being the best father I could be until I could get a handle on managing my time while working a full-time job, as well as being a husband and a newborn father. But with all that said, I'm so incredibly proud of how far we've come together in growing this channel. When people think of Halo in Asia, they think of the Karizzma crew, and all of you made that happen, so thank you. I'm happy to say I'm not going anywhere. As I get sorted with my time, I promise we'll continue growing this channel. In terms of content, I don't want to solely talk about Halo news because honestly every Halo creator does that and often is able to do that a lot quicker than me while I'm still in bed due to the time differences. By the time I wake up, the news is already broken out and every creator has already put out their video. So instead of just reporting what's happening 2 minutes after the news is broken, I want to do what I've always done and provide value to you as the viewer, give you my opinion and perspective, whether you agree with me or not, because discussion is what helps foster a community. So expect a lot of other additional content in the future, like mission rankings, opinion-based videos, compilations of fun clips, and much more. I'm also open to suggestions from all of you on what you guys want to see more of. But that does it for today's video. Be sure to Superman punch that like button. It really helps smaller creators like myself stand out and grow the community. If you're new here and enjoy Halo content, be sure to subscribe as well, especially if you're in Asia or other lower populated regions, because I am trying to bring Halo to regions it's never been before. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Subscribe to Kaptain Karizzma.